You know, one of the interesting things that happens in regards to film and Hollywood is a real big push to the left. There are a lot of left-leaning people in Hollywood that I have no problem with. I'm a left-leaning person in myself, my own personal politics. Part of the interesting things I see, though, or part of what I like to criticize, is when it goes to that far left, the far SJW side of things. And we've seen that happen in regards to Captain Marvel and the marketing surrounding it, especially Brie Larson and comments she made last year concerning white male critics. In fact, there was an article that popped up June 14th of last year saying Brie Larson promises, "I do not hate white dudes, but laments the lack of inclusion among film critics." Saying here, am I saying I hate white dudes? No, I'm not. But if you make the movie that is a love letter to women of color, there's an insanely low chance a woman of color will have a chance to see your movie and review your movie. Audiences are not allowed enough chances to read public discourse on these films by the people that the films were made for. I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what it meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial. And she's obviously referring to the mixed cast of the film, which is fine. I get that. I get her point there. She wants to see what other people are thinking about these films, which is cool. Right. As I've said multiple times, we need more diverse language and diverse voices on these issues to get a better perspective for how it might meet the middle ground. And a lot of critics are overwhelmingly white and male. That much is absolutely true. But when it came to her press tour for Captain Marvel, she maintained this particular mentality. In fact, another article here that popped up just a few weeks ago saying Brie Larson isn't letting her Captain Marvel press tour be overwhelmingly white and male. And this is absolutely true. There's an article, there's a snippet of information here about a Variety article, it was some other magazine had interviewed her, but she had requested a journalist who was disabled. And that was meant to be this big fluff piece of her picking and choosing which journalists to get one-on-one interviews with her, and making sure that it's diverse enough to back up her statements from last year, which again, I don't have a problem with, provided that everyone gets a chance to come in to the fray. In fact, there's even an interview with her that popped up today, because what we're seeing now is a lot of the press junket stuff from last week is starting to make its way online. In an interview with a guy from Fox DC, the subject came up, and I want you guys to pay attention to it. So
now, one thing I want to say, one thing I love about you is you had a great story happen recently about inclusivity and diversity in press. And I'm a white male, and I commended you completely on that. But
Thanks.
Most people, when that article dropped, it was headlines that were completely taking you out of context. Like, she wants no white men at press junket, which is not what you were saying. And people need to read the articles to actually find out the context of what you were saying.
Yeah.
But as an actor, when you have to say something like that, do you worry about how things get twisted? And for audiences who only do read headlines, can you clarify what you were saying? 'Cause I think it's awesome what you're doing, and I hope that more actors do it.
I mean, it's hard for me to comment on that because I don't know what the headlines were, or what was said, or what I said, or what people think that I said. All that I know is what I'm looking for is to bring more seats up to the table.
Yep.
No one's getting their chair taken away. There's not less seats at the table. There's just more seats at the table.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that you're doing that. And please, I hope every actor sees what you're doing and does it more, because we need more diversity.
Thank you.
Press.
I appreciate that.
Agree
Thank
with you.
you.
Now,
okay, so she claims to not have any recollection over what she says, not have any recollection over what the comments were, what the headlines were, even though she's responded to the headlines before, even though she's responded to the controversy back in June of last year when she first made those comments about critics for A Wrinkle in Time, even though she had full carte blanche in regards to the press tour. And Kevin Feige let her do it. The powers that be at Marvel played up this fact. And I talked about this before on 3 Block Theater. A friend of mine who runs a movie news website hit me up and showed me an email sent to him from a marketing company, from an advertising company that is working to make these things happen, about a press event happening, I believe tomorrow, a press event happening. And it was basically saying listen, hey, we'd like you to come out here and check this thing out. Do you have women you could send? We're not telling you not to send men, but can you tell women? If you have a female reporter, can you send the female reporter instead? We'd prefer there to be more women here than men. So isn't that a little bit odd in regards to Brie Larson and what she's saying here about She doesn't want fewer seats at the table. She wants more seats at the table. But then the marketing company that's putting this out there is telling people, hey, listen, send women. And maybe that's because in all of these press junket reviews that are coming out today, there's almost no non-white men that I've seen. In fact, here are some images of the men that have popped up in these interviews. They're all white. These are all white dudes. So this particular push, at least in some regards to this junket, is not working as well as it should. Now, look, I understand what Brie Larson wants, and I'm fully for having people who are of different ethnicities and genders coming out and talking about movies. I love movies. I want Captain Marvel to be a good movie. I don't like things getting bogged down with identity politics. And when you start pushing the identity politics and the left-leaning media picks that up and starts running with those politics, then it becomes a problem and it becomes a gigantic issue, which is what we've been seeing with Captain Marvel. Look at the comments the other day about the review bombing. Captain Marvel is already being review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes, except it isn't. Captain Marvel isn't, because the review score isn't up yet. You can't leave a review. There's an audience score of whether or not they want to see the movie that's being hit, but that's not reviews. Those don't count. But the media has been protecting Brie Larson, been protecting this movie just like they did with Ghostbusters 2016. It is a wild, wild thing, and one that I'm just astonished is still a factor, that they're still pushing these agendas. So look, I leave it to you. Do you feel like Brie Larson is just trying to evade the question of a problem based upon her own comments? Or is she just really blissfully unaware and people have been protecting her for so long that she just doesn't know? Which is entirely possible in and of itself. I leave it to you. Your thoughts or your opinions, write it in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out. Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. While you're here, feel free to check out that subscribe button. Help the channel out. Or you can watch any of the newest videos and make sure that you're caught up to date with what's going on in Hollywood and entertainment. So that way, when you're at work tomorrow, you can wow your friends with the information you learned from watching these videos. That's right. I said it. Subscribe.